Welcome to today's episode, Ty Lopez Show. I'm back at the Brazilian restaurant. This is my new little spot to do these podcasts. If you saw my Snapchat, we were just playing some basketball. How many basketball players do we have? 7 famous females came and kicked butt. But I want to talk about the 3 reasons they fail at everything they try in life, most people. Now, I got a special guest star on here. She calls herself the Black Italian. That's not and she was just telling us, this is the most interesting thing, because the number one reason people aren't successful is they're stubborn. They won't change. So I was talking about how I like to try to read people. She told me when she was in kindergarten to 6th grade, this one boy that she thought was cute and gonna be cute, he kind of was mean to her. So now, fast forward, she's in her 20s, and she realized this guy turned out to be super good looking, or in her own words, fine as fuck. That's what she said, okay? She said fine as fuck. And she said, I said, why don't you reach back out to him? She said, well, I went on his Facebook. Facebook friend tried to request me, and I didn't accept. I said, why? She goes, because he was mean to me in 6th grade. I said, and this is her exact, you got to learn to listen. You got to be like Sherlock Holmes. If you want to be good in business, you got to read people. And this was her exact words. She said, I literally can't friend him back. Which is not a truthful statement. You could. What you should say is, I literally will never. I won't. So, trust me, so many people, I was just talking about there's a Bitcoin. My friend, this guy named Brock Pierce, back in 2008, I had dinner with him, and he was getting into crypto world and all this. If I had invested back then $100, I'd have 75 million from it. But if you tell people that to change their routine, most people won't change. So the main takeaway from this episode is you need to suck it up, you need to be a grown woman, and you need to give somebody a second chance. If they were mean to you as a 6-year-old, you cannot hold that against them.
That's horrible. How are you mean at 5?
No, because when a boy is 6, that's how he expresses that he liked you. You pick on girls when you're little.
That's how he expresses that he likes you.
Exactly. He was actually being nice to you. He had asthma attacks at recess because he was so nervous because he thought you were so beautiful that he was dying. You almost killed him.
Staying in the boys' restrooms? Wait. Made him nervous.
Trust me. Do you? This show of hands. Is there anybody here in your family that you guys have, family member, that's so stubborn that success could be right at the door, but if you tell them to go there and it's not their idea, they ain't gonna do it. They're stubborn.
Yeah.
One of my brothers is that way. This is a true story about one of my brothers. I was telling him I used to live at the Amish when I was young. And I lived there for 2 years. He came and lived with me when he was 12. And at the Amish, you don't have electricity, and you got to use fire to keep warm. So you have a little heater that you put wood in. We woke up at 5 in the morning. It was frozen cold. So I tried to light the fire back up, put some wood. I couldn't do it. My brother came and he said, step aside, let the master do it. That's literally what he said to me. So I was like, okay, you want to start it? So I'm eating cereal. I look out of the corner of my eye. He had taken kerosene, which it's not the same as gas, kerosene. He had squirted it on the wood. Now, the thing about kerosene is if there's only coals, it's not like gas. Gas will start right up. Kerosene creates a bomb, okay? So my brother, I see out of the corner of my eye, I finally realized what he was doing when he had a match like this. He was kneeling in front of it, looking inside. He threw the match in. It exploded. A fireball goes whoosh and went right back in. Crazy thing about my brother, he never moved. He was so stubborn, he had decided he was going to lean forward. It didn't matter if a fireball, and it burned all his eyebrows off, eyelashes, and it was a Sunday. So the Amish have this long church service. He walks into church, and everybody's like, what's that smell? It smells like a burning human. But the point is, don't be like my brother. If things change, you get new evidence, you got to change your actions. Like, the second he saw that thing explode, jump out of the way. For you, if you got the man of your dreams and the only problem was he was he had a not a heart attack, but an asthma attack At 6, can a man get a pass? Men get held to too high standards by women.
And he fast forward now.
Okay.
Even though he firmly requested me and I wouldn't accept the first request.
Yeah.
He did request me on Instagram and I follow all of his businesses that he's put on. So I definitely support his businesses. So.
We're back. Let's talk about stubbornness. What's the difference between Facebook and Instagram? You're just invent. Facebook's more professional than Instagram. Yeah. See, when you're stubborn, you limit your opportunities. Don't limit. What if he is, let me ask you this. What if it turns out he is your dream, perfect soulmate, and he ends up marrying another woman, and you realize that 3 years from now, you didn't even give it a chance? No, don't be overly optimistic. That's not life. That's not how life works. One of the greatest businessmen of all time, Charlie Munger, he's 92. He says, very few lives are full of opportunity. Most people only get a few chances. You ain't getting a million soulmates in life. If you meet one, you better take advantage of it. We got a Mormon here. Does this match up with the Book of Mormon? Nah. I knew there's something innocent about her. I'm like, you're not a typical LA girl. And then she's like, I just moved here from Utah. It's like, that'll do it. That'll do it. Okay, so that's number 1. What do you think number 2? Number 2 reason people are not successful. Stubbornness is number 1. This is my experience. Not a go-getter, procrastination. Those are all good. Fear, insecure, these are all good ones. I think that, to me, the second reason is people are overly sensitive. So what happens is, you tell somebody good advice, and there's a saying in the Bible, correct a wise person and they will love you. Correct a fool and they get mad at you. So how many times have you told someone good advice and they not only do they not listen, but they literally get mad at you? So that's oversensitivity. You'll tell some people, this guy came up to me at a conference. He's like, oh, dude, I want to make $1 million. And I knew his business. And I was like, I've been in that business, and I remember how to make over, $10 million in that business. And I told him one thing, and he was like, so what are you trying to say? I'm not smart? I'm like, dude, you just asked me for advice. Then you got that's how sensitive this generation is. Trust me. Go on Twitter. Everybody's whining about everything. So don't be overly sensitive. And with that, we're going to take a commercial break because we're trying to get this girl to get more wine in her system. We're interviewing her for question number 3 after the meal, when she's a little less sober. If you notice that who's that bottle closest to? She strategically moved it.
And why is mine not okay?
Welcome to part 3, or the third tip of why people are not successful. I just had this whole table, everybody here, take a in-depth personality test that I designed called Life Compass. And I'm going to go around, because everyone wants to know about themselves. I'm going to go around, and it's very fascinating. So the third reason people are not successful is because we humans have psychological issues.
If you wanted anything else, I figured you meant wine or anything.
Yeah, maybe. Do you want more wine? Or are they done?
Oh.
They want more wine before I finish telling them the person. Let's start with you. Okay. Let me tell you. All right. This is yours. Yeah. Joy. Okay. Joy. You want me to start with the good things or the bad things?
Bad, all bad.
No, let's start with the good.
Yeah, you start bad and you just start bad.
All right. Okay. So you are slightly narcissistic. Yeah, I told you. We have 2 identical twins at the table.
I don't accept
So
anything he says.
her narcissism score out of 100 is a 62. But this is a more interesting thing about you. You also love money a lot. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, nice things. You're also very stubborn. You got a 23 out of 100 on flexibility. So you got to worry that. But this is my main concern, because she talked to me about getting married. You are what's called an anxious avoidant. This is very rare and very complicated. And if you don't fix it, it'll be a pain in the butt. So you got a 72 on anxiety. So in a relationship, you very much are interpreting oh, why didn't he text me back? Like, well, maybe he found somebody else. It's like, oh. And like the dude just fell asleep for a nap. And she's like, what's wrong? Wait, your emoji is like an emoji with 3 dots. Last time you sent 2 dots. Like calling your friends, like he's sending me mixed messages right now. He usually puts a happy face, but this time he put a wink. Does the wink mean he's leaving me? Like, yeah. But on top of that, this is she has a rare attachment style. No, you said you wanted the bad first.
Okay, we're still down here.
On top of that, she's an avoidant. So what's going to happen is you're going to attract guys. First of all, you're going to like guys who don't like you back because you get what's called a feedback loop. Like they don't react to you. They're avoidant themselves. And so you try to text them and they disappear, which stimulate. It's actually a mental, there's actual chemicals going on in your brain. Oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, neuroepinephrine, all these ones. And yours is like kind of crazily wired together. But here's the bad news. When you find a dude who likes you, when a guy likes you, if he gets too into you, you're like, ugh. You two are like that. When a guy comes a little too strong. So basically, if a dude doesn't like her, she likes him, but he won't respond back. If a dude does like her, she's like, what's wrong with this guy? So this is very complicated. It's literally called anxious avoidant. It's from science a long time. Now, the good news about you is you are very fair. That's good. So that is a great trait. You're also modest, although you're a little... Yes, okay. You have extreme... Do you take medication? No. Ever thought of it? You got 85 on fearfulness. On anxiety. So you think of the worst case all the time.
But, however, it does pop in my head. But I've learned to control certain thoughts or push them
And you
out.
cry in movies easily, boy.
Oh my gosh.
She's going to fall apart. Puppies. All right, now let's switch to one case. Now we're going to go to case number 2.
She's like, no.
All right, Annie. Some of these tests, when you learn to read people, sometimes you will be like, oh my God.
I'm charming, okay? It's quirkiness.
So you are, okay. You want the good news or the bad news? Okay. You're not modest. So you will look in the mirror and be like, damn, I look good.
But I do the opposite as well half the time.
So one thing about narcissism, it's false confidence. Sometimes when I tell people they have narcissistic tendencies, they go, well, isn't that good to love yourself? But narcissism it's literally technical term is fragile. So so what happens is when you're young, if something goes wrong, it could be a divorce, and people are different. You start overcompensating. You ever met somebody who overcompensates confidence? Because deep down they're actually insecure. You have a little of that. That's why you get butt hurt easily. You're very sensitive, and yes. And you also are very anxious, and you cry easily. I'm telling you, you two are twins, boy. We got twin sisters. You are, let's see. And you're even more anxious avoidant than her. You will have disaster relationships. Have you had a great relationship?
What?
Yeah. 0 chance.
I didn't hear the question.
When she was 4, she had a friend. She had a neighbor boy. Yeah, that don't count.
I've only ever really...
When you were an adult. And also, here's something good. You guys are very dreamy. So you dream about the ideal, and the ideal just it never comes.
We're romantic.
And you are dramatic. Yes. Has any human that knows you well ever called you dramatic? Yes or no? Be honest.
I don't know. Oh, but that's not my reading.
Yes or no? Mom or dad, brother, sister, guy who dated you.
Guy who dated me, but he had a lot of issues, like alcoholic.
So, one of the problems is law of attraction. If you cannot blame your spouse or your significant other. You chose them. You don't live in Afghanistan where you got, or Dubai or Saudi Arabia where you were forced. So if you lived with an alcoholic, or you dated. This is one of the problems in the world. Like women who outwardly are nice, they end up with horrible guys and they have kids. And the kids are all fucked up because alcoholism is bad. My dad was an alcoholic. So my mom left when I was a little kid, thank God. My mom left me with my dad one time when I was 4 years old. I'll never forget. I can still remember it. And he was drunk. He came home drunk. I was petrified. I remember being a little kid. Like, drunk guys, scary when you're a little teeny kid. My dad was a big bodybuilder. I was like, ah. And he was dating this girl named Valerie, who, thank God, called my mom. My mom had driven me to Long Beach. I was driving home. Somehow she got either way, there was no cell phones. Maybe she called my mom, and my mom drove back and got me. My mom saved the day. There's one good thing about women. They usually save the day. Dudes ruin everything, and women come and save the day. So you guys have a good heart. You guys are both nice. You have somewhat high Hexaco score. You both like nice things and money. You a lot. Capricorn. She's a Capricorn. Don't ask me why, but science and astrology, when you do these tests, they come out the same so often. All right, let's go to the next person.
Wait, where was the good? Was there any good in that?
I told you were nice. You're a nice person. You're nice.
Like, you're messed up, but
Right. Like, this is wrong with you. This is wrong
All
with you,
right,
this is wrong
now we have Isabella, chubby cheeks. That's what I put her in my phone. She has cute little cheeks. Okay, so Isabella, you are much more psychologically normal.
You other chicks are crazy.
No, I didn't say that. You can be a teeny bit lazy sometimes. And you also, I'm going to tell you your thing. So in a relationship, if a dude gets too close too fast, you get turned off. You have that avoidant, like, ugh. It's not that healthy, but you got to get over that. The hardest things to change about your personality by far, but you're very modest. That's good. Guys, find girls that are modest, because girls are already trained by society to be super into how they look. So if you get a girl who already is double that, you also like money, by the way. Scorpios always like money. Going back to this slide, trust me, Scorpios are always like, oh, I don't care about money. And then you're like, yeah, test doesn't lie. The test is an x-ray into the brain. You're also very independent. Very. You got some dependency issues.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Shayna, what do we got? We got down here. She's a businesswoman. I got some concerns. As we move down the table, the concerns begin to rise.
Oh, that's positive
As
for
it-
us, right?
No. Starting right there. As we move down. All right. So, Shayna, you can lie a little bit. You're a little bit of a liar. I'm surprised. And you are not modest, and you definitely like money.
She's like, okay, where's the bag? That's a good, or?
We have a lot of fearfulness and anxiety at this table. You're not anxious. You two, 1, 2, 3, you guys are like everything. You got to learn to not always think about the bad. You freak out. You have they call this your alert system in your body, and have you ever tested your blood for cortisol? You should test it. You'll get jacked up cortisol. I have higher, Zach, the guy that was there shooting? I tested his blood. He got a 7 on cortisol. It's amazingly good. I have like 20. I'm triple as stressed out as him. But I do more business stuff. You're a businesswoman. It's a little bit, you are also, wow, you'd be a tough girlfriend. Because if she dates a dude and he's like, I got to go on a business trip, she's like, bye, and forgets that you're like, okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks. You're very independent. Don't lie. You're very independent. You are very independent. No, I'm not saying you'll cheat on him. I'm just saying you're okay with distance. You'll be like, okay, call me when you're back. Yeah, call me when you're back. Yeah, that's fine.
That's not a bad thing at all.
It's none of there is no good or bad. Like, this is all how you interpret it. You can be a little tough to get along with. You're stubborn. God, I didn't think you're so stubborn. Has anybody ever called you stubborn? Yeah, like people, I love when people go, no one calls me stubborn except my mom, dad, and my brothers that know me the best. Besides that, strangers never see it. But here's good news. You're very hardworking. You don't give up. And that's a good trait as an entrepreneur. And in love, you probably don't have as messed up relationships as you're like somewhat normal. You're a little bit independent, but you're like, have you had a decent relationship before? Decent love relationship before? Yeah, you can predict. This test pretty much predicts she's had a lot of issues, she had issues, normal. Yeah, you just don't have, that counts as an issue. When you're like, I've had no issues because I've never had a relationship, that kind of counts, unless you're 5 or something. Let's see what else. So that's good. You're an ENFP. ENFP is, you could be an entrepreneur, and you do good with people. Like I'm an ENTP. I'm more idea guy, logical, like science. Like I like this. You're more like, people will like you. You got a good vibe and you're friendly and stuff like that. No, you don't thank me. Don't. This is what you said about yourself. Don't get offended and don't be. I'm objective here. Okay, next. All right. Who is 4521? All right. Now we come from the beginning. Never. Once you learn to read people, always trust your system of reading people because 9 times out of 10 is right. And this girl here, I'm like, she's the most trouble at this table. 0 doubt in my mind. Just 0. And on the Machiavellian, so narcissism, you got 7. Because we play basketball together. I instantly know how people play basketball. She's like, where's the ball? I will win this for us. She's like, it's 4-on-4. It could be 1-on-4 because nobody can guard me. I'm good. So she has which can be good in sports. She's very confident, but this Machiavellian one you have to work on. It's probably, by the way, it's genetic. Do you know your real mom or dad?
I know my real mother, yeah.
Was she selfish or selfless?
Selfish.
Yeah. So selfishness is related to narcissism, and you inherited some of that. You can still adjust for it, but Machiavellianism, you got a 51. Were you ever bullied?
Never. I always set up for bullies.
But were you said you grew up Mormon? You grew up Mormon. Did you ever feel a little bit out of place? You're a mixed girl in Utah.
No. I grew up in Sacramento.
Oh, okay. But you grew up Mormon?
Well,
So you're around Mormons?
yeah.
Because Mormon is the whitest group of people. We have a Norwegian here. Norwegians are the second whitest people in the world. Like Norway is blonde. So is Utah. Utah is like Scandinavia landed in America.
But you are right.
But you felt a little bit out of place. And so what happens is,
Mixed,
yes,
so I can never really fit
she's
in.
black, Mexican, and white. So what happens is you develop this defense mechanism, which is basically you learn how to be nice to people that you don't really like. So you know how to, like, especially as a kid, because as a kid you can't always, if there's an adult who's kind of ostracizing you, kids, it's hard to stand up to adults. But anyway, you're a little sneaky, period. There's nothing you could say that, and you're a little more psychotic. You got a 15. You could punch somebody in the face if they did something to you bad enough, without a doubt, and not feel that bad. Yeah. Like, let me see what you got. See, I'll give you an example. You're 0% psychotic. Do you think about revenge often?
Oh, never.
Yeah, no. You've thought about revenge once, twice, maybe right now. She's plotting revenge against me. Guys, if this is the last time you hear from me, you know what happened. It was her right there. So she got, it's a little concerning. Now let's see how you are in love. Oh my God! Wait, you're 4521? I'm serious. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, so one cool thing, good thing, you have like 0 fear. That's why I saw that when you play basketball. She's like, 3 people hanging on me. I'm going to the hole. That you have an 8, which is almost like what you should do is drill a hole in their brains, take some of the fearfulness out, and put it in yours. Because you don't have enough, and they have too much.
That's crazy.
But you have a ton of anxiety. It's interesting. So this is an interesting thing. You can have low fearfulness, but high anxiety. So for example, she would not be afraid hang gliding. Skydiving would not freak you out. Do you have any phobias, like going up high, stuff like basically, she doesn't think she's gonna ever die. But anxiety, you think about this stuff. Like you have, I'm gonna tell you this, when it comes to love, you have a serious, like you should act, it just said, hey Siri. My phone, I said you have a serious, and my Siri activated. Like, I'm not saying this mean, but you should go see a therapist. There's zero way you're gonna have a normal relationship. You will have zero normal relationships. And I just tweeted this. Fix your demons, because if not, the cycle just keeps coming back. It just, no, whatever you think's normal, other people know ain't normal. How old are you? 28, 29. You've had great relationships. No, you have not.
Besides, whoa.
No high school, junior high allowed. Yeah. So your personality's not really formed till you're an adult. So like, some scientists don't like to do these tests. No high school, done.
But we were together in my 20s. We were together for almost 8 years.
What happened?
I broke up with him.
So,
Because he was too much on me.
yeah, you're anxious. We have 3 anxious avoidants at this table. They're only 5% of the population. 1, 2, you're the worst of all of them.
Oh no, I got a lot of.
You have trust me, go to here's the thing about a therapist. Let me just make this. People have, if you're overweight and you go to the gym and you get a personal therapist, trainer, nobody laughs at you. Everybody has a personal trainer. Every celebrity guy in LA, Zac Efron for Baywatch, he got these abs. His trainer, I know his trainer. He trained him. Kobe Bryant had, Phil Jackson had all these great coaches. There's nothing wrong in having a trainer of the brain, but you need it, because if not,
But you didn't elaborate on the fact. What's with the whole relationship thing?
you are anxious avoidant. So you'll eat, just like her, you'll basically go this way. Like when you like a dude, you'll seek out guys who don't like you back. That'll be the most attractive to you. And it's like a little weird game. And then when a guy who's probably good for you likes you and he starts to get into you, you're done. You move. Yeah, it's not most women, but people have serious psychological problems. I just read this book that's insane. I got to remember what it was called. But it basically said, what if the world is like a planet where there's a disease that you're not supposed to have, but everybody has it, so you think it's normal. But by the time you're 3 or 4, you get like spots, like leprosy. If everybody got the spots, we'd think it's normal. And in modern society, it's like a fragmented, there's no community, families are all broken up. So many people have it. That's like when you see like hip hop, like women in hip hop, not to pick on hip hop, I love hip hop music, but some of the stuff that people say, and men and women in music, it's like classic psychological problems. They're like, women, fucking. I just read a fascinating book. You don't have to love yourself before you find love. This is a myth. You know how people say, I'm working on myself? If that was true, then how could you form your love attachment style as a baby? So do you have to love yourself before you accept love from your mom? No. You're born to be loved. So there's so many myths another myth in modern society, guys. Men and women tell me, Ty, I'm not going to get married until I have my own shit going, until I have my own money. If you read a good book called The Millionaire Next Door, 90% of millionaires were married way before they were rich, and very few bachelors ever get rich. And same with women. So you're better off to get married young if you want to make a lot of money, because it settles you down. Take it from me. I ain't married. I'd have a lot more money if I was married. There's zero doubt, because when you're married, you're like, let's go to the club. Women are distracting. So there's a lot of myths in the world, and what we think's right is upside down. You're ESTP. You should be a salesperson. Are you in sales? I could totally see you killing sales. What do you do?
Well, I want to actually. I'm studying real estate. So.
Yeah, you should be just pure salesperson. You can make a lot of money in sales. All right, we have one. Who's left? Okay, I'm interested in these two right here. Who's 1244? That's you. Okay, I ain't giving you the whole number. Guys want these numbers. You can't get them. All right, you're an ENFJ. You'd be a good mom, good teacher. What do you do? Coach basketball. That's right. You're in the right business. You're a feeler, and you're like you're a judger. You have better relationship style. You also cry a ton in movies. You get attached to guys easily. But, and this is one downside, you're a little bit narcissistic too. You ever dated a narcissist? Yes. Yes, narcissist. So you got a 74 on narcissism. That's pretty high. Once you get around 70, it's like psychological problems. So you're right on the border of like a little bit too sure. So one thing is, half the world needs to be less sure of themselves, and half of the world needs to be, the other half needs to be more sure. You're on the side needing to be a little less sure, less sure, less sure, less sure. Are you very sure that you're not sure? She's like, I'm sure I'm not sure. Yes. Remember, the mind is an impenetrable fortress. This is what Nietzsche said. You only learn about your mind through friends or enemies. This test is both. For some people, it's an enemy. It's very. If you came into a hospital and they put you under X-ray and show you had a broken arm, would you be like, no, I don't believe it? This is an X-ray for your brain. So you're pretty normal. You're pretty normal. You just got to ramp down. A little bit overconfident. Trust me, overconfidence can make you just as poor. There's a ton of studies that overconfident students get worse grades and make less money. Underconfident people also have the same thing. It's kind of like being too fat or too skinny. Sometimes loving yourself too much is like, I love myself too much. The next thing you know, and then some people are anorexic. We don't have too many self-esteem anorexics at this table. We have a lot of basketball players. Part of why I made you good. Okay, what's your last? Are you 8859? All right, I'm very interested in this. You're more normal. I like that she laughed. You ain't normal. Okay, so here's your main bad thing. When a guy likes you, you get a little freaked out. For sure. For sure. Yes. Have you wanted to be? Are you able to tell how old you are on camera or no? How old are you? Have you ever wanted to be married? Have guys wanted to marry you? Had you had a heart attack when they wanted to and you backed out of that?
When I'm not sure.
Yeah, so basically she's an avoidant, which means a lot of things make you not sure. Like she's more secure. So if a guy's not perfect, they're like, eh. But you are kind of like, well, not you as much. These three are basically like, yes, but we all have to settle because we're gonna die.
So I might as well die with someone.
No.
I'd rather have my peace.
No, but you won't be happy single either.
No, I get that.
You won't be happy. You're a. Let me see what.
Choose your battles, right?
Here, I'm not an absolute expert because I'm not married, so I don't want to be too cocky about this. But I'll tell you what experts say on this. You're an ENFP too, so we have a lot of. You could do a lot of stuff. You could work in charity. You'd be like a good little spokesperson. You're not an introvert, just like I said. She was arguing with me that she's an introvert. By the way, anybody who argues with you about their personality test, they're almost always extroverts. That's an extroverted thing, to be more likely to aggressively engage. A true introvert, if you're like, you're an extrovert, they'll be like, oh, okay, that's the introverted. So, not only do I read the test, I watch how people take them. Extremely impatient. She's like, what are my results mean? What are my results mean? For 30 minutes. Yeah, but you have to think about it this way. None of us is perfect. So you get what you are. So if you got 3 flaws and 7 good things, then you gotta stick with the dude that got 7. But what happens when you're avoidant, you only focus on the negative. That's what it basically is. Whereas like you'll be more like, he can breathe and he has 2 arms. He's good.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
Where you're like, you're not gonna believe this. Last week, I'll give you an example. A long time ago, I dated a chick. And this is before I knew about psychology tests. And she was very, very beautiful. Be careful, guys, of the beauty trap. And so she lived with me in LA. And towards the end, when the relationship was not going, she was going back to the East Coast. And we were out at a club. And guys would fall in love with this girl. And all these people were like, oh, you're going back to the East Coast? Oh, he better get you a limo to the airport. Okay? I had told her, by the way, I'll take you to the airport every day this week except Tuesday. And she booked her flight home on Tuesday. So I said, all right, I'm going to have to get you a car. So I didn't have as much money back then. And so the next day, when it was time to go, she's like, where's my limo? I'm like, they were joking and drunk at a club. Why do I have to get you a limo? So I didn't get her a limo. I got her a taxi. And she literally, we didn't talk for 2 years after that.
Whoa.
Now, that's you're not that bad. She was like 100. But basically, she liked all this stuff about me, but she would fixate on, well, oh, what kind of dude doesn't get his girl? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, a limo?
I'm more big on the moral and respect part on that department, not the money and all that, because that comes and goes. I've had that experience. It's more like respect and morals is really, I don't play with that.
Yeah, well, you gotta pick. It's kind of like in business. Like, I look at a business, I could have done different businesses, and hindsight would have made me more money, but you gotta be like, what are my things I won't compromise on? Sounds like, but that can go down a rabbit hole. Because you can be like, well, if he ain't a Christian, I ain't gonna marry him. That's moral. And, oh, he's a Christian, but he's a Baptist. Fuck Baptist. I mean, it can go, you could be forever.
Well, balance is the key.
Yes. Yeah, because I'm telling you, you do have to settle sometime, or else you will be 73 years old, and you don't have as much choices at 73. I'm sure you'll be very beautiful at 73. Do you want to have kids?
I don't know. I go back and forth.
You want to have kids. The science is in. Almost every woman who could have had a kid who doesn't has extreme regret. Now, if you can have, some women can't have kids, and you'll be fine. You can adopt, and you could, or whatever. But if you could have a kid,
I
it's
do,
tough.
But then this day and time, sometimes I'm scared.
Nah, but you're a good mom, so don't worry about that. You're not gonna be a crackhead mom. Just don't marry. You know what? I'm gonna close in this. We gotta go. It's late, but one of the main problems is if you get your wiring messed up, the perfect guy for you, you went on a date with him and you were like, he's kind of boring. That happens a lot. That'll happen to you. You, the good guys, and then the neck tattoo guy, you'll be like, something about him. There's something about him.
I was 21.
But guys, I was just talking to Cheekies here, as I call her, little chipmunk cheeks. I have learned, dude, some of my friends like bad girls in LA. I'm like, no. Girls are, I'm not perfect with women, but I have never dated a psychopath girl, thank God. I've always dated pretty good girls. I mean, long term. I've had some short term. I had a girl steal money from me, and I chased her down in Bellagio, and I got kicked out of Bellagio for like 7 years. But that was only like the second date. I came in my hotel room. This was before I knew you were. I came in my hotel room. She was from Canada. She had flown down with like her cousin. They're like in there taking money out of my room. And I was so in shock. I just walked in. I was like, I thought it was a joke. And then they took off running out of the room. And I was finally like, I'm going to go after them. So I chased them down, went all the way down, went in the hall. And I finally was like, dude, I didn't touch the girl, but the dude. I wasn't going to tackle a girl, but it was like $500. It was enough money. And then the police, of course, came and got me and took me down. They have a jail in the Bellagio at the bottom. They held me for like 3 hours. I'm like, you got the wrong dude. And they're like, well, they told us they didn't steal anything. I'm like, yeah, dude, what the fuck you think they're gonna? I was like, do you think? So I've never been back to the Bellagio since then. I'm like, fuck the Bellagio. I now go to the damn other place. You lost my business and I'm vlogging about it, bitches. Anyway, so don't be attracted to psychos. All you business people, I know business dudes, they partner with one train wreck after another. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Find people, sometimes people that you don't like on the first encounter because they're seemingly boring, you want to be around boring. Because all women, close your ears, all women become dramatic So if you meet a girl who's dramatic on the first date, imagine the first year. This chick, I like girls that are so chill. I'm gonna end with this last story. This is a true story. My a business associate named Renee moved from North Carolina. He'd been married for 30 years. They got divorced, but it was an okay divorce. He came here and said, Ty, I want to find love again. I've been divorced like 3 years. I said, go on Match.com. So he goes on Match.com, and he comes back a week later, and he's like, dude, I'm so sad. I was like, why? He goes, I blew it. Girl of my dreams, I blew it. I said, tell me what happened. He said, she was perfect. Her profile, she was a doctor, smart, pretty, the right age. He was like 50, she was like 40, like everything he wanted. He said, so I went to meet, she said, meet me at Starbucks in Santa Monica Promenade. I went there, there's 2 Starbucks. He didn't know this, one at one end, one at the other. So he went and sat there at 4 p.m., just like the date was set, waiting. She doesn't show up. 10 minutes go by, he texts her, he gets a text from her going, why aren't you here? And he's like, I am here. And she's like, I'm at the promenade at the left side. And he realized, oh crap, I'm at the wrong one. So he runs across the whole promenade, it's like an outdoor mall, runs into the place, sits down with the girl, and this girl's like, don't you, I'm a doctor, you don't respect my time, da-da-da-da-da. So the date went for like 5 minutes and she walked off. And he was like, I'm so bummed. I'm like, why? You want people to reveal themselves. If the chick is a psychopath, like, don't be wearing your best outfit on the first date. Because if a girl only likes you when you look the best, you might as well go in there looking average, because then at least you can look better, right? And it's the same with drama. If a chick is dramatic, like, be 5 minutes late. I know you shouldn't play with people, but you gotta be smart. Be 5 minutes late. If that chick's like, oh, I was about to leave, I'd be like, I had that one time. A girl came to my place. She went to the wrong house, stood outside of it. I stood outside of my house, didn't see her. And she finally texted me, I'm leaving. I was like, goodbye. I'm like, you dumbass, didn't know where my address was, and you're dramatic? Erase. And then do what I do on my phone. Huh?
I feel like you shouldn't already set yourself up for something like that.
It's okay to test people.
It's okay to, like,
Let me put it this way.
Sure, but at the same
Being
time,
5
in the
minutes
very
late is not
beginning-
manipulative.
In the very beginning, I think you should have, like, just be just respectful.
Listen, anybody in the modern world that thinks you disrespect them by being 5 minutes late, in my opinion, is not going to last. Because do you think you'll ever be 5 minutes late? Because I don't like, this is a personal philosophy. You have yours is valid. Mine is, life is tough and lots of stuff comes up in life. I like business partner. I have a business partner, I kid you not, Alex Mayer, Mentor Box. He runs the whole thing. He's making $1 million a month. One of the reasons I knew I wanted to be business partners, he flew down, you know I kind of have a big house, right? This just happened last month. He flew down to LA. He taxied to my house, came in my house. We were supposed to go see a movie. I forgot he was in my house. There was 10 of us. We all left, went to the movie. About 2 a.m, I was like, oh shit, I have a guest that I left. The next morning, I was like, dude, I'm so sorry I left you. He's like, I don't care, I just wanted to sleep. I want somebody that if I'm late 5 minutes, they go, oh, I was just caught up on my emails. Now, if you're an hour late, that's disrespectful. But why waste your test quick in the beginning? People, get them to reveal their shit in the beginning. Pressure is, and if a girl did that to me, she goes, I was 5 minutes late, I wouldn't think she's manipulative. It depends how you do it. So do it within reason. Anyway.
There you go. And that's the perfect thing to say.
Now notice at this table, who was the most alert to anything tricky? Last bonus lesson. People who watch you for being tricky, they're always tricky. It's true. If you ever meet somebody and I leave let's just say this, I left my wallet here and I gotta go to the bathroom. If I say to you, you're not gonna steal anything out of that, right?
Right.
You promise me? Like anybody who has that train of thought, they've stolen money out of somebody's wallet. No normal person thinks about that shit. Yes. Are you suspicious? Jesus.
I would have to disagree when it comes to just, if you're going to plan something, I think you're just already setting yourself up and the relationship.
So I'm gonna challenge you.
So,
With the guys you date, you want a good guy, right? So on your first date, don't look your best. Just look like you do on a normal.
I could do that. I've done
Good. So, okay, we agree on that. And that's number one. Number two, don't be like your most charming self. Just be how you, because we all have different sides. Sometimes we're more charming. Just be kind of like low key. If the guy doesn't think you're interesting, then inevitably that day would have come anyway. So you might as well get it off the, that's what you have to do. You got to screen more at the beginning. Not so much later. Yeah. Don't be so avoidant later. What's the longest you've been with a guy? Was he the guy who wanted to marry you? But I'm saying, don't be with the guy 7 years and not get married.
Yeah, I mean, I was, young.
Wait, how young were you?
Same here. I had the same thing.
That's not that young.
I mean, I was, I didn't date a lot in high school.
That's what I'm saying. Screen them out early.
You guys in the 20s, and then he kind of showed me a whole new life and world.
Life's complicated. So's love. Good luck out there. Love's kind of like this chocolate cake and ice cream. After a while, that's what it looks like. Right there. Thank you guys for the guests. You're good. She's good on my show. I need people who disagree with me. Don't be so cynical.
Me? You cynical?
Skeptical and not so anxious. You have 92. That's fucking insane.
92 on what?
On your anxious in relationships.
Oh, well, okay, so the anxious part and the relationship is combined.
Have you been cheated on? Yes. How many times? By how many different guys? 50% of your relationships? Real relationships? Whatever you call guys you were into, you had a relationship with them. Okay, listen to me. 50-50 is not the ratio you want. You want like once or zero. So that's what I'm telling you. You attract, the law of attraction, there's a great book, H Factor Personality. There's scientific proof that you attract. So if you're like a little sneaky, you're going to attract sneaky guys. Yes. So what happens is you got to change your worldview. You got to be more like, go a little more, go with the flow, a little more, hey. Yes.
But then that's how they cheat.
No.
If you cheat, then I'm going to go cheat.
No, what will happen is you will attract a different... Please say you got that on camera. Please. Please. I don't even need to say anymore. You could not prove my points. It's not really my points, by the way. I'm not trying to act like a know-it-all. I'm just passing on to you what my mentors who spent 40 years studying this stuff.
Have you taken this test?
Taken. I have, yes. And
And you're normal? Are you
nobody's, I'm not perfect. No, hell no. I'm not perfectly normal.
What's your relationship?
I'm a little bit like you, but lower. I don't have that much as much. You guys have like, yeah. My biggest problem is. I'll tell you. No, I'll tell you why I score horribly on gentleness. I am not gentle. People who work for me, I am too blunt. Once in a while, I've had very few people ever quit working for me. Maybe one out of, I don't know, every 50 people or something. But sometimes people can't handle the truth. And I got to get better at being like, I need to be better like, oh, I'm not that. I'm like 40 or 50.
So who scored the highest on narcissism?
You, I think, got a 70. I think it was you and you too. I think it's you too. 3 of you had it. Yeah. I'm not that high. I get 40 to 50. My worst is I'm not agreeable. My gentleness is put it this way. Like 1 out of every 10,000 people is as blunt as me, unfortunately. But some people like it. That's why they follow my channel, because I just basically say shit that people don't want to say. All right, we out. Thank you guys.